Everybody, how's it going? How's it going?
Hi, I'm Adrian. This is Let's Talk Relationships, and today we have all of our hosts today. We have Terrence over here, Miss
Hello.
Miss Latoya, John, the date doctor, and Adrian Charleston. And John's gonna introduce our topic for today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to have you all just kind of featured and kind of listen in on a lot of our interesting topics. And of course, I'm going to be very upfront with you. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it very sensitive, but we're going to keep it adult like. At the end of the day, we're not going to chat about basic cliche basic things. We're going to chat about real life events. We're going to chat about healthy style relationships. Some of our basic topics today may include can you have friends of the opposite sex and still keep a happy home? What are some of the ways that you can show love and affection towards your significant other? So those are some of our basic topics that we're really going to focus very deep on today, and of course we want to open up the room for maybe some Q&A time, allowing
Yeah.
us to open up the floor, allowing us to have adult-like conversation, and we're going to take it there, ladies and gentlemen. This is the brand new year. This is the year of 2017, so we're going to take it there. We're going to do it, so we kind of expect you all to do it as well. So,
Yeah.
oh, that's perfect right there. That's
Yeah.
official. That's official.
I think the light is.
Okay.
Is it?
Hey again, everybody. Now you can see everybody. So, what I'm gonna ask is the lighting has gotten better that we all introduce ourselves. I'm Adrian Charleston.
And I am John, the date Dr. Clark.
Latoya Chappelle Clark.
And I'm life coach Terrence Perry. Glad to have you all joining us this evening. I hope everybody's tuning in. And again, we're going to let John start the topic of conversation. And you all chime in as as you feel the need. Do y'all make the hearts and the bubbles come up?
Yeah, make the bubbles, make the likes, make the smiley face.
We'll take it
Make
off.
some frowns, do it all. Be honest with us now, because that's exactly what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I don't want you all to be anything but yourself. If that means you gotta throw out some likes, if you want to throw out some, I don't agree with that. If you gotta throw out some hearts, make it happen, because we're gonna keep it real regardless.
Yeah.
So let's start with the most sensitive topic known to man and or womankind. The real question now I want you all to think about, and of course I want everybody to close your eyes for a second. Just close your eyes for a second.
Meditation.
Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Think about it for a little bit. And I'm gonna make it as generic as possible. Can a man have multiple female friends and still keep a happy home? I'm gonna say it again, just in case one of y'all got AT&T and you got Sprint. You may have dropped the call. You may have lost a few bars. I'm gonna say it again. Can a man have multiple female friends and still keep a happy home? Let's chat.
Let's take it on.
So of course I'm gonna start it off. Oh, Miss Aiden, do you want?
No,
You sound like you getting ready to take
No,
it.
I'll let you start.
Let the lady.
Let the ladies
Of course,
start.
the ladies first.
We try to be respectful.
Okay,
Of course,
thank
the
you.
ladies first.
Personally, I think so. Depending on when the friends were made, how the friends were made, and the boundaries that are set. And it's not one of those, because as people get married, relationships, males have friends, females have friends, and it's what a friend is. And I think the definition of friend is so messed up nowadays. My definition of friend is a friend, a platonic friend. I hang out with my friends. I do not sleep with my friends, and we are just that. Like there's nothing, no kissing, nothing in that realm, and that's where people get it confused. That friends are other things, like they add other monikers, friends with benefits, friends with this, friends with that. Now, my significant other cannot be friends with someone he was with because that's something else. That's more than friendship. That's more than, and the only other person or female that he should be friends that he slept with is his baby mom, because they should be friends. They should co-parent. They should do these certain things. But other than that,
I feel you.
I
I know
yeah.
what you're about to say too.
That's
You
just
can't
my
be-
opinion.
You can't be friends with an ex. Is what you're saying. He can't be friends with an ex.
Depends on the boundaries of that ex.
But I think you mentioned that you want to allow your significant other to be friends with an ex, especially if he's had some intimate relationship.
Right.
Does that mean that the fact that he's had sex with him or her,
Yes.
does that increase the chance that he could possibly have sex with her again?
Not that possibility, it's just that there's no boundaries, because once someone sleeps with someone, they think they have certain rights to people, regardless of their relationship or what's going on with them. And sometimes, and because I've experienced it too, and I'm not just talking about females, I'm talking about with males as well, that once someone has slept with you, there are certain boundaries that have been crossed. Whether you push back to that friendship phase or try to be just friends or y'all just talk or certain things, it's still something, you know,
Let me say this.
territorial about
Okay,
that.
I respect that.
Who would want to, I mean, a mature person who would want to get back with an ex?
A lot of people do.
But I'm saying a mature person
It doesn't
who
matter.
would want to
What's
get back with an
mature?
ex.
What's mature? though?
Mature, I mean, an ex is an ex for a reason. And
Doesn't
that reason
matter.
is because evidently things didn't work out then. And if you moved on, then, I mean, what's done is done.
I hear you.
Going back, meaning you got some issues that you didn't deal with in the past, and now you're trying to bring them. That means you got some extra issues going on.
Not necessarily.
So I wouldn't worry about the ex. I would worry about the person that I'm dealing with, because if they're going back, they got some issues, and I wouldn't want that person in my life not with those issues going on back to the ex. If you're going back, go ahead on back. I'm good. I'm going forward to the next. Now you the ex.
But it's always easy to go back to something that you are familiar with.
Easy.
It is.
Yeah.
If you are mature and moving forward, that's why the ex is the ex.
No, can I make okay?
They ex for a reason.
And I'm a psychologist for y'all who don't know, and
Give me your psychological.
and that's what I'm
opinion.
about to do, because in psychology and just the nature of people, regardless, because people go back to bad relationships, bad situations, and bad things all the time, because when you leave that situation, all you remember are the good things. You don't remember the bad things. So it's easy to fall back into that pattern. And like she said, what's familiar, what's easy, what's comfortable, and it's easy to go back to an ex. And I hear you saying mature. It has nothing to do
Well,
with
I'm saying,
maturity.
now, if you recently broken up, I agree with you. You shouldn't be
Doesn't
having
matter
no
how
dealing.
long
But if
ago.
you ain't seen that ex in 2, 3 years or 4 or 5 years,
It could be 10.
y'all are done.
It could
10
be
years,
10.
you done. If you go back to a 10 years ago relationship, you got issues from the past that you ain't dealt with.
What
As a
what do you mean
psychologist,
by
you know,
issues?
issues meaning you doubling back to something that didn't work then. So certainly, if you've moved on to someone else, why are you going back to someone that you didn't want to deal with 10 years ago today?
Because it could have been bad timing.
Yeah, but
Like meaning when y'all were together, say once you were together 19, 20 years old,
And I've done that.
you immature, you trying to, do this, do that, go here, still kind of go out, want to party. But if you run into that person again and you're 30, you've
Mhm.
matured, kind of know what you all want. Both of y'all may be a little bit more stable.
no, but you're in another relationship already though at 30.
But then that's
That's why we're talking
familiar,
about
though.
you
That's
think
Yeah.
of being
You
friends.
know
Well,
that person.
And I hear what you're saying, but now you said, well, we were talking about relationships, why exes shouldn't be friends and all this other stuff. But then when you say, why would somebody go to an ex? I'm not assuming that they're with somebody
No,
else.
I
But
thought you
was
was assuming John said that
right. But
they're in a relationship now. Can they be friends with an ex?
right. But then we
So-
just start talking about why somebody would go back to an ex. Period.
No,
Like, not necessarily why they're with
I'm still
somebody.
standing with what John was saying. You're with somebody.
Hmm.
You can be friends with an ex. Now, if you're going back to somebody that you were with 10 years ago, and you're with somebody,
That's different.
so, but that's what John said.
And I guess to kind of piggyback on both, because I'm gonna play the bonus advocate for a quick second. I get what Mr. Terrence is saying as far as going back because the ex is an ex for a reason. Now I'm a big fan of forgiveness, but forgiveness doesn't always mean that you have to accept that person back in your life.
Right.
Forgiveness could also mean that you can forgive that person for what he or she has done wrong, but doesn't necessarily mean you have to go back. I'm a firm believer in that an ex is an ex. My philosophy is that if I've decided this person really didn't work out for me, then the odds of me going back to this particular person is probably slim. Not to say that I would never go back, but the odds of me going back to an ex is probably slimmer than none. Of course, we see it in society. We see it in movies. We
Mhm.
see it in sitcoms where the ex rekindles things after 20, 30 years. I see it in movies. I
Yeah,
paid
but
$20
in
bucks to
real
go
life.
and see it with me and my wife. But in my society, in my world, the odds of me doing it has decreased. In reference to my wife, love you to death. In reference to what you said as far as sometimes it's easy, the way the mind works and the way society thinks, sometimes we assume that just because something is easy is because sometimes it means it's less work for us to do.
Mhm.
And sometimes when something is comfortable for us, sometimes comfort is a form of doing less work. So my philosophy is, if I've considered it in an ex, then the odds of me going back is pretty much slim. If something is easy, then it really means that it's probably not as work and it's not as much of an effort of me actually wanting to go back. So I'm a firm believer in everybody's philosophy, but if I've broken up with this person, then obviously things really haven't worked as well in my best interest or that person's best interest as well. And that's just kind of
And
my
then, and then too, what you're saying is going back. You're not trying to go back to a relationship. You're just saying you forgave that person. We're not going back to no relationship, but we can be friends. We don't have to be the best of friends, but we can be sociable. Just friendly associates.
Yeah.
You're not trying to go back into a
But
relationship.
that's different than
It
friend.
didn't work there.
That's an associate, and that's friendly. and
But
that's
friend,
social.
but when
Right?
you get into but we're just talking about friends. So we didn't say how close. It may be just close enough to where we're associates, to where we see each other in passing. It may be close enough to where we make it laugh and be at the same spot and not bothered about something what happened 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We are mature. We're beyond that. Now, if we're not, oh, that go my ex from 10 years ago. Now, if I'm gonna act like a fool, then again, I say you got issues because that was 10 or 2 or 3 years ago. So it's an ex. So it's done. That means history.
Right.
That's history.
And then you see some people that's an ex, and then it may be, oh, it's my ex from 10 years ago. Hey, how you doing?
Right. And sometimes
Remember me?
and a lot of times we see a
And
lot
who's
of
supposed to check that? Who's supposed to check that?
The person
The
who
person.
they're talking to.
That's
You
right. The
talk
person
to
that put their
them.
hand on, he need to check that right
But if
then.
they in a weak moment,
Weak moment.
you never know what
Then
kind.
you check him then. If he in a weak moment and she put her hand all on him, you check him for not checking her.
If I ain't there?
she know by the vibe and the invitation.
Yeah,
I mean, because at the end of the day, I can tell just by everybody's in the room now. We obviously there's a lot of gender differences. I mean, from a manly perspective, the average guy is not willing to do as emotional and/or intimate work as far as rekindling some of those things. Sometimes you do have guys that are willing to do so, and I think, like genetically speaking, sometimes you may see a lot more females. I mean, no disrespect to any ladies, but I'm just kind of speaking from the truth. A lot of times we tend to see more females that tend to want to rekindle some of those things that maybe didn't work out in everybody's favor in the past. And of course, sometimes it's safe to say that sometimes we have a lot of gender differences in us, and sometimes we think differently as man and a woman.
A
And of
lot
course,
of men want to rekindle too.
yeah, and it's
But-
true.
In my experience.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
but let me say this also, in terms of not just rekindling, but that person is an ex,
Mhm.
and what are you going back? Again,
Yeah, that.
what are you going back to? Something that didn't work. But if you've moved on, and then you're going back, so that should let the other person know right there that relationship that you're in now is not stable.
And that's what you were saying.
So that
Somebody was saying
relationship.
that, yeah.
So that's where the work needs to be. Not worrying about the ex, but worrying about that person that you're involved with. He may or she may need to be the ex if they gravitate backwards and not forward to what you all got going on.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean they need to be the ex. It just may mean that the
It's
two,
some-
might be
some
some
work
issues
got to go
within
on
the
there.
relationship that's going on there.
Mhm.
But it doesn't mean that.
Oh, that's a major issue.
I
That's
didn't say it
major.
wasn't major. I said there's
Yeah.
an issue
So
going
there may be an
that
ex.
could be.
Yeah. Unresolved issues.
Right.
You have to decide.
Which again is why
You have to decide.
Be careful of
Do I
your
want to deal with this person who I'm supposed to be moving forward with that's gravitating back to an ex? Personally, no, I don't want to deal with that person. So now we're gonna have to end whatever we got going on. Think about what we see. If you go to an ex trying to get back with you because now they miss what they let go, and they see there won't no greener pastures out there. That was the greener pasture. They always want to come back. What you have to keep in mind is, do you want them back or not? More than likely, your answer should be no. More than it should be. When you had me, you didn't know what to do with me. So certainly, ain't that you can get here now.
I
You
get
can do history. It's too many. It's a new day.
Too many fish in the sea. I get what you're saying.
But don't, I think, and we talked about it before, don't most relationships start out as just being friends?
That's true.
they
So
should. They
if,
should.
Should.
so if one of your exes is in your circle as a friend, has got friend zone,
Mhm.
you, say for instance, now that's your friend, okay, so if me and you have issues, you might reach out to your friend. Toy did this today. I don't know what to do.
Mhm.
Y'all start confiding in each other,
Mhm.
talking about personal things. She might talk to you about her other, and now next thing you know,
Sleeping together.
Yeah.
Because
It don't went left.
because you've done it before, and that's why I was saying you have to
It's-
be careful
right.
with having exes as friends, especially if you're in another relationship. And there's nothing wrong with being social, being associates, but not actual friends.
Friends.
Like friends,
You can't be
I
best buddies.
no,
You
just
can't be
friends.
best buddies.
Period. You have to know the definition of a friend. A friend is somebody that's there for you, somebody you confide in, somebody that's a friend,
Like a
not
best buddy.
or more. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So
More-
yeah.
more so having, if an ex is gonna be in that circle, that ex
That-
needs to be more so of an associate, not a
Right.
friend.
Yes.
But like
I
you
mean, it
said,
needs to be.
right,
some-
just in
Right.
the, just in the
Okay.
circle.
Right.
Yeah. If we're
But you
to,
can't be so close in the circle that now you're confiding, because like you said, you already been in a relationship in the past.
Mhm.
So you don't even want that person to, if that person can get that close, then it's more that there are some leftover feelings
Well,
that won't resolve,
and sometimes
some
it's not
issues that won't
always,
resolve, because
it's not
now,
always leftover feelings. It's not always that things aren't resolved, because people can gravitate towards people at work or a coworker or any a stranger. They can gravitate towards them, but this person is there and they're familiar, so it's a little easier to gravitate towards
And to
them.
talk to
And
them.
it's not necessarily that everybody's set up to cheat, and every friend that's a friend in somebody's relationship is not set up to cheat. They can cheat with the stranger on the street, but it's just that it's easier to confide in. They know them. They've had these intimate times together, conversations, everything. They've been there before, regardless if it worked or not. They've been there, so it's easier to have that person if they're right there, and you can go talk to them, and then
But it's
You know.
still a choice.
there's
I
a
mean, whether it's
it certainly does a
whether
weakness
it's
in there somewhere. to
whether
me.
it's
It don't
easy,
sound
whether
like
it's
nothing strong.
whether it's easy, whether it's difficult, whether it's on rookie level, whether it's on professional level,
mhm.
at the end of the day, it's still a choice that the average
It
person
is.
has made. And of course, if we are easier and we're more accountable to be attracted towards that particular person, if we feel more grounded to be able to communicate with that person,
Mhm.
whether it's wrong or wrong, at the end of the day, I kind of agree with what Mr. Terrence said, because obviously there's some things that have not been resolved. I mean, just like cheating, which is another throughout conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, cheating is also a choice. It's an
Mhm.
intimate choice. It's an emotional choice. It's some choices where things haven't been resolved. And of course, I could
And
probably
it's
tell
a
you about
moral, and
6 or
it's a
7
moral,
different reasons why
and it's a
people do it.
moral choice to cheat. Mean you've made a decision to whoever that you've made that commitment to. Now you're breaking that,
Mhm.
so you're morally not even caring about the person that you've committed to.
Yeah.
You're gonna forsake that for
And
an ex or
Yeah.
either something else that's out there.
and I will
So that's now your moral character is in question.
and sometimes
It's just like a thief.
because I do counsel people, and I counsel people that cheat. Sometimes it's not necessarily just like people want to look at it as this horrible thing, you have to be condemned, blah blah blah. Yes, it's bad, you're not supposed to cheat, and there are things that you shouldn't do when you're in a marriage. And sometimes just because of their coping skills and how they were raised, there are different reasons that people turn outside of the person that they're with, and it's not necessarily always moral character. So
But
I
that
don't,
comes into question though.
it does, but
It
that's
comes
not
into
always
question.
the reason. That is not always the reason. It is just that sometimes people don't know how to cope, and sometimes it's something that they can't. Something is going on in their life that they can't turn to their partner to, and that doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with their partner, but it is something that they should work on together. But a lot of people don't want to or know how to work on it together. So that is when they look outside of the relationship and look for other friends and look for other things. And sometimes when you're having those intimate conversations, other intimate things can happen, and that's just life. And when people I just don't think people should be condemned for
No,
not for anything that they do,
well,
but a
people
lot
can
of
do whatever
things
they can do whatever they want to do.
right.
That's their adult choice
Yes.
to make. But also now the other person has a choice to make too. If
Mhm.
you done cheated on me, and I don't care whether it was your moral character or your intellectual character, your sexual character, or your behavior, you got some issues from the past. You still cheated, and now I got a decision that I got to make now. Do I want to
Yes.
still deal with you or not?
Mhm.
Do I want to work with you on this or be done with you?
Right.
I mean, I got to figure that out now.
Right.
It ain't about you at that point. It's about what I want to do.
Mhm.
And I
Because you made your choice. You didn't cheat it.
and I want to piggyback what you say as well, because I counsel
Yes.
people as well. I'm in private practice as well, and the one thing that I really teach, and of course I'm not gonna disagree with them because we're all professionals, but at the end of the day, I'm a fan of holding my clients accountable, and
Mhm.
I understand everything you say, and I love the way that you present it, but I hold my clients accountable
Mhm.
for their wrongdoings, whether we consider it wrongdoings or whether we consider it a coping mechanism. At the end of the day, I still hold my clients accountable, and of course I call it like I see it, but also I'm very respectable on my clients, whether it's a male or whether it's a female. If they're doing wrong, whether it's morally, whether it's ethically, I allow them, I'm encouraging them to realize that it's wrong and they have to take accountability. And the way you presented it a second ago, maybe I had a misperception of it, but I think you stated that, yes, cheating is morally wrong, but sometimes it's the average person's coping mechanism. And I do realize that
average person, but some people.
it's some coping mechanism.
Yeah.
But the way you present it, you might as well say that because I go out and murder 6 or 7 people, that I'm not wrong for doing so. It's the way that I'm choosing to cope, which is not going to stand in the court of law.
I didn't say it was standing to court of law, but sometimes that.
But I mean, now if we have the not guilty by reason of insanity, I get that. Or we have some mentally incompetent people, but at the end of the day, we can't justify someone's wrongdoing by misplacing it, by using another terminology for it. I mean, accountable, because if we're going to do that, then we're going to give that clown or that person in general that they don't have a right to have accountability, and then they're not going to take hold of their actions. So my philosophy is, I mean, yes, wrong is wrong, but I'm going to help us realize that wrong is wrong so we can cope, so we can now begin to mend these issues that are going on. Because if we constantly give it words or give it definitions, then it's going to continue to be clashing in relationships and or marriages, and that's why people have to be held for accountable. And of course, my job is not to bash them, but my job is also to realize that, hey, I realize that wrong is wrong, and we have to be held accountable for some of our things, and as opposed of justifying it and calling it outside of what it is. And no disrespect to you, I'm just
I wasn't justifying it. I was just saying when you're dealing with people who are doing it, it's not good to just, rah all the time. It's always something. It's always, oh, that's more, that's a sin. This is this. And when you're throwing that at people, they already know what's wrong. They already know. If they're coming to see one of us, they already know.
Right.
They know what's wrong. They've been fussed at. They've been yelled at. They've been kicked out of the house. A whole bunch of other things have happened before they come to see anybody like us. So when I talk to them, you meet people where they already normalize it, just to get them to be okay with talking to you, and then that way you can go forward, moving forward with the situation that they're in. And I'm not saying for regular people, because if you're in the relationship, you're going to be mad, you're going to be upset, and they know that it's wrong. So it's not up to me to throw more at them. It's to figure out why, what was going on, how we're going to fix it, and if this relationship is going to continue, depending on if I'm seeing one or both of them, and how it will continue, because that's a whole another thing, because a lot of people do choose to stay. A lot of people don't automatically leave. A lot of people don't see cheating as the end of the world, or the end of the relationship, or the end of anything, because sometimes they learn and they understand what's going on with that person. And again, not blaming anybody or anything, and they still have to take responsibility for what they've done, but it still could be reasons in their past and in their life as to why they chose to turn away from their significant other to outside sources.
And it's going to always be a reason, and we can always look back on a person's past.
Not always.
We can always look back at, I guarantee you can always look back in the past and find that rationale for, that can, if you wanted to justify, you say, well, because of this past and what they went through and what they've seen and endured and dealt with, we understand it from a psychological standpoint, but still, they did what they did. They got to understand why. And so you helping them to understand why, you still got to take them back. You still turn them backwards. So once they understand why, okay, we ain't talking about you cheated. that's the terminology. You cheated. No, you had sex with another person outside of the relationship that you was in. We call that cheating.
There can be a lot of things.
So
considered cheating.
so
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
we
you gotta be physical now.
but it's
Right.
still a judgment
Yeah.
that's made. So it's just it's just a judgment that's made on that person. But you get that person to understand why that they made that choice, because they didn't have to go to another person. They could have found other ways. But like you said earlier, those are the coping mechanisms that they know based on what they know, and what they know is based usually on what they've grown up in or seen or been around, and that's what have become acceptable, whether it's conscious or subconscious. More than likely, if they're acting on an emotional level, it's subconscious. They're not even aware that they had this pattern that they keep gravitating back to, but they are, and they're doing it. So you reveal that to them, because they don't even see it until you bring it to their attention, and then they can see, okay, yeah, here's a pattern. I do keep going back when I get mad about this, or some upsets me, or I don't trust the person I'm with. I kind of start doing these behaviors. You bring it to their attention. So now you give them something to work with. You give them some strategy to look at those patterns going forward. So suppose they continue to make those mistakes again. That person that's in a relationship with them had to ask themselves, are they being a doormat? Are you going to be a doormat and stay in that relationship with that person that keep cheating because of something they may have dealt with or didn't deal with in the past? So you keep giving them, I understand, I know, I'm compassionate, I'm heartfelt, I'm sympathetic, empathetic. So you're going to keep dealing with them and get them another opportunity, another chance. I say go ahead on, hey, no, chop. Be done until you're not ready for this relationship. So you need to be single and work on yourself. Because until you can, again, love yourself, you can't love me. And I can't love you doing what you're doing. So we got to end this thing.
Yeah.
You ain't ready for this. You go on back to that, or you go to a therapist or a psychologist or somebody. But you can't be with
He out
them.
of there on Front Street.
It's,
First mistake, he out of there. Nah, that's it.
I know, right?
You called me what?
Oh, that's okay.
I know what your daddy name you called me. It's
Right.
a wrap.
What's
We got people commenting. We ain't even respond to the
Oh
people.
yeah, we got people commenting.
Do we got another computer back there to say
Miss
what's up?
Miranda?
Yeah, that's my brother and my sister.
Oh.
You guys didn't share it until the audience is sharing.
No,
Oh.
You got your
I'm
phones
gonna
with
get
you?
back to that.
Right.
You gotta get
One
into
of
this.
them.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
let Gabrielle join you all for a minute.
Mr. Terrence, he wanted
she got-
done.
One and
Mr.
done.
Terrence, he wanted done.
Right.
First mistake, he out of
I
there.
understand all that, but no.
He raised the ruckus and then get out of the.
Right.
He wanted him to drop the mic type boyfriend.
Yeah.
This what you did? I'm out of here.
Yeah. It's gone.
Y'all too warm. You want me to try?
No, we're good. Yeah.
We're just having a real warm / sensitive topic. That's
Right.
all.
Yeah. And we'd like to say that Miss Gabrielle has joined us. How are you this
It's a
evening?
pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Hey.
Hey guys, I met y'all, but it's nice to meet y'all, Gabrielle.
All right, John.
Adrian.
Kick me out.
Yes.
You out.
Yeah, we had to throw Terrence out because
He starts all the chaos.
he was his one and done, so we let him say what he had to say and go. Cause
Now we're on to the happy topic, right? Is that now we're?
yes, she brought the bright yellow in, so we're ready to get some more good energy going on in here.
We done
So
came in with the sandwich. We done started with the gusto of it.
yeah.
We started from the inside of the sandwich, then we moved out.
So, yeah.
They looking like, what they talking about sandwich?
It'll
Gotta be a
fine.
sight, Major. Gotta be a sight.
It'll be fine.
Gabrielle, bring us something good.
Yes. So what's our next topic, Mr. John?
I think the next time was more so happiness that we're gonna be focused on.
Yes.
The more thing is, now the way I'm gonna word the question, I know there's no such thing as a how-to. I'm a big person that's gonna say the increase of and the decrease of, the chances of and the chances of not. So the main thing is how to love your significant other. So those are kind of some of the things that I usually chat about when I'm dealing with my clients, and what I usually revolve around it is love languages.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody familiar with like the 5 different love languages?
Yes.
So I kind of use myself with an example. Some of the basic love languages are like physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, and of course, gifts. For example, I know me. My wife knows that if she goes at least 7 to 2 hours, and I know it's gonna sound real Ike-Tina-like, but it's not. I love my wife to death. My wife knows that.
To death.
I love to death. Hey, that's what the Bible said. I'm sticking to it. That's what
Right.
I'm real Terrence-like, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
So-
That was just say
and-
together, though.
Yeah, it is.
So, like at the end of the day, I'm a big fan of words of affirmation and also physical touch. My wife knows me that if she goes 7 to 2 hours without, at least holding my hand or giving me a hug or some type of words of affection,
He gets grumpy.
I'm gonna get a little grumpy because
No.
I know me. I'm gonna say it again. In this case, one of y'all got Sprint, AT&T, or T-Mobile, man, drop the bar. I know me, and my love language for myself, how I was raised, how I prefer to be loved is words of affirmation, such as keep up the good work, John. Man, you're doing good. You speak real well. Hey, keep this up. Words of affirmation, words of compliments, and also physical touch, holding hands, pat on the back, hugs, kisses. Wake up in the morning seeing kisses on the side of my face, so I gotta wash my face extra 10 minutes in the morning. So it just physical touch really allows me to feel as though that I'm loved. Call it an insecurity. It's not insecurity. It's how I prefer to be loved. Do I need to have my hand held every 10 minutes? No, but I need some type of physical touch. Not to say that I'm a little child, but no, the way I was raised, my parents did these type of things. These are kind of some of those similar ways where I felt, I perceived, I prefer to be loved because this is what I'm used to. This is how I feel, and I know that I'm feeling love. So that's kind of my example as far as my love languages, how I prefer to be loved and how I prefer to feel it. So what does everybody think? What's everybody's love language, or does everybody have like their own definition or perception of how to be loved?
You have a listener or a viewer that asked about love languages that they want to look it up. So is that something that they can find
Yeah.
more about?
Yeah, they can Google it. Actually, it's just look up the 5 love languages and it'll explain it. And there's an actual test that you can find through Google that you can take to figure out what your love language is.
Mr. Chappell. That's the guy that I'm Chapman, my bad. I cannot think of his first name, but I know his last name is Mr. Chapman, and it was a book that he'd written several years back, and it just kind of helps the average person identify the 5 love languages. And the purpose of it, because the average couple nowadays, we want to love our significant other the way we want to love them. I'm going to say it again, just in case you missed it. The average person, we want to love our significant other the way that we want to love them, and when we do that, sometimes it can increase the chances of our spouse to feel signs of neglect because we feel like this is not the way that we prefer. So if the average person treats another person the way that we prefer, we need to switch that and treat the person the way they prefer because it shows signs of us being unselfish and it shows signs that this is the way that this person prefers to be loved. And my bad, I don't want to steal the
No,
mic.
it's Gabrielle.
Well, I think as far as to love somebody means that you need to actually know how to love yourself first.
Yes.
Because I feel like I'm young, and if I'm not taking care of myself and loving on myself, then how can I possibly love somebody else?
Yes.
True.
So at the end of the day, it's really identifying what you like. Like, what do you love? What do you love about yourself? What do you love if you are to get a partner or you are to be single? Like, what were you doing before you got with this mate or whatever the case may have been? But for me personally, being single, I realized a lot about love that I didn't even realize that I knew. Like, loving myself didn't mean materialistic stuff. Loving myself meant taking a break. Loving myself mean finding myself. What do I really like that I can give to somebody else? Okay, yeah, I like to hold hands. So yeah, when I meet my man, I'm like, yeah, that's something I really enjoy. I enjoy holding hands. I enjoy going to the park. I enjoy doing all the little, like chick flick movies and stuff like that they might not like. But I think that's what I like. For years, I was in relationships where I always did everything that I thought they wanted me to do. And so they failed because I assumed that meant love. But that was what I had growing up. So I felt that was love for me. Then I found out later on in life that you have got to get to know a person and ask them what do
Yes.
you like?
Wow.
Yeah.
How can I love you properly?
Say it one more
Yeah.
time. They ain't
You
get it.
know, and so that's what I figured out now. You know, I'm in a relationship at this point, and I ask him, you know, what is it that you enjoy? What do you want to do? What is your goals? How can I help you accomplish your goals in the midst of you helping me accomplish my goals? So, you know, it's just finding those balances with each other, and that's what brings you together, and brings you closer, and brings you in love. You know, that agape love. You know, that's what we talk about.
Yeah.
So that real love, that genuine, unconditional love. So that's just me, and that, you know, of course, mine comes from above.
That's that 9 months later love.
I'm
Agape.
with Gabrielle. I teach this. I teach, preach it, and everything to everybody. Everything I'm on, everywhere I go, that you have to love yourself first. And I do want to put out a disclaimer, because I was on a show one time before, and I was talking about loving yourself, and they were talking about how it's selfish. It's not selfish, because if you don't love you, how's anybody else going to know how to love you? Or how are you going to love anybody else? Because if you can't love the person that you see daily, every single day you're with, every single minute, second of your life, if you don't love that person that you're looking at in the mirror, you cannot love anybody else, and you won't know how to love anybody else. And when you love yourself, as Gabrielle was saying, you know how to tell someone to love you. And going back to the 5 love languages, mine is affirmations and quality time. I tell people this. They don't listen.
Yeah, listen.
I've had buying me stuff, paying for that doesn't show love to me. That's kind of, and sometimes it's like, I mean, I like nice things. I don't mind somebody paying a bill here and there, but don't leave me money every time I see you, because that to me is
I
not
don't need
love.
money.
That is not love to me.
True.
That's something else. That's love for someone else. And I always tell them, like when I'm dating, because I'm single. Whatever. So
See?
yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
But I do tell, you know, when I'm dating someone, I tell them, don't text me, call me. If you want to see me, tell me you want to see me. I will make time for you. But these are the things that people don't hear. Like I had one, he'll do it for 2 weeks. We'll talk, we'll FaceTime and all this other stuff. And then next thing it just falls off. And then he's wondering why we're not talking. I'm calling, and I'm going to give you about 2 chances for me to call. I'm not going to keep calling. You know?
All right, Terrence.
You know?
Terrence.
And you know what? That's different. Dating is different than being in a relationship. Relationship, you do different things. But if I'm dating you, or we're trying to date, and you can't even do the simple things in the beginning, I already know you can't do those things in the long run. Because if you can't do them in 2 weeks or a month down the road, why am I going to keep telling you? And one guy I told him like 2-3 times. He's been trying for a year. And you know what? We're back at halfway talking, halfway this, halfway that. I don't have time for that. I mean,
watching right now.
he might be. Hey.
Can I just chime in? Can I chime in on what you said about that? I think before, like seriously, before I was single, and a lot of guys, they like the idea of you, but they don't actually like who you are.
Exactly.
Because, you know, you'll see a lot of guys, they'll hit you up for 2 weeks and they're like, yes, she's the woman I'm going to marry.
Yeah.
And you're hearing all this, you're like, yes, this is great. And then you don't hear from them for 2 to 3 weeks and you're like, what happened? And they say, well, you fell off. I look like I'm chasing you at one point. If you really want to pursue me, then you'll come after me.
Yeah.
That's just how I look at it. And it says, he that finds a wife. I'm not going to search for you.
No.
I mean, it's okay if it's mutual. We're out, we're hanging out, and we see each other, we lock eyes, we're like,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But me actually going to search for you, no, I'm not doing that.
Yes.
Hold on, let's chat about that. Hold up. Mr.
I'm not
Terrence,
going
you left me over here stranded now.
Oh, yeah.
Hold up.
It's 3-1.
What Bernie Mac said? Who you with?
Right.
I mean, if you think about it, let's take it down.
Let's
take it down. So, like you said,
Let me pick
and,
up
and,
mine.
and of course, I love chatting about the Lord.
Mhm.
But yes, a man should find his wife. But let's look at the definition of find.
Yeah.
In order to find something, it has to. Well, I'm not gonna say it needs to be in place, but it needs to be within sight, emotional sight, intimate sight.
Mhm.
So, of course, yes, we're built to find and to locate. But in order to find, in order to build, in order to locate, some things have to be in place. And of course, a man, we like to feel wanted. Yes, we want to chase, but in order for us to feel wanted, you have to stop running at some time. Yeah, we're gonna chase you for a little bit, but of course we have to catch our breath.
Mhm.
Yeah, we might say that we'll run a mile and a half to come and get you, but
You only
we're
run half a mile.
and you can believe it. Because well, see, at the end of the day, we run a half a mile because eventually we hope and pray that you start with us and men with us
Yes.
and build with us.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, of course, as men, I'm not gonna make a justification that we're very dishonest at times. I just made up a word. Don't judge me.
Yeah.
So nobody called that.
I did. I was gonna gloss over it, but
It's Black History Month, so I can get away with it. So like, so at the end of the day, like, yes, we're designed to be hunters. Yes, we're designed to chase.
Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna tell you that we're gonna chase for 1.5 miles. But what we're really saying is, hope and pray that you stop on the second mile, because I don't want to chase you that long.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know
Makes
we should
sense.
be a man of our word.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I know if we say we're gonna chase 1.5 miles, yes, we should do it. But the way marriage work, the way relationship work,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to go with this thing codependent like. I'm not saying things should be 50-50 because 50-50 it leaves too much room.
Yeah.
Should be
If someone
100,
does this, it should be 100-100.
Yes.
If I'm gonna chase you 1.5 miles, meet me halfway so we can work like 1.5 miles together.
Oh,
And of course, we want, as guys, some of us, we're built to chase and to also be wanted. I know it kind of sounds a little awkward, but that's just kind of how it is. So I mean, I know the average guy nowadays, the average dating, the average courting phase is 2.5, 4 weeks. But at the end of the day, we're gonna chase for a little bit, but we're gonna get a little tired now.
Days.
We're gonna get a little tired, and at the end of the day, if we're gonna chase you, we kind of want to feel that. I'm about to make up a word. We want to feel that reciprocalness, whatever. But we want to feel that. So let's try something new. Like, I mean, but I get some guys are very dishonest. Some guys feel like, yeah, she the one, blah blah blah, and we don't push the issue.
And some men are dream sellers. They want to
Yes.
tell you this dream in the beginning. And what I tell people, and I tell them in the beginning, I'm looking for a consistent companion. Like all those C's. You need to be constant, you need to be consistent, and you need to be my companion.
Right.
And some men can't even do with the consistency. They are consistently inconsistent.
You can barely sell it.
And
Oh my God.
Yeah.
so
I had a
it's-
mic.
you want to drop another one, but sometimes it's one of those things. Like I met a guy a couple months ago. He was like, "Oh, I want to talk to you. I want to be with you. I'm gonna make you fall in love with me. We're gonna talk on the phone for hours and blah 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 blah." You know how long we talked on the phone? Like all together in like a month's period, a total of 13 minutes. 13.
That should have said
13.
something about the way he presented it. He been reading to me in books.
I don't know what he was
He
reading,
watched me in movies.
and I was like, you know, because and sometimes because I will say this, I am a psychologist, but I am not always working.
Yeah.
So when I can mess with people that aren't paying me, I will. So that aren't paying me. You know, if you're not paying me, you know, if you're paying me, I can't mess with you. I have to treat you. We have to do everything on the
Yeah.
up and up. But if you're just
Yes.
so it was, you know, so I called him on his mess. I'm like, hey, it's not what you said. You're not doing it. Oh, okay. Then he texts me, hey, what you doing? Me, watching TV.
Yeah.
Come over. No.
No.
Like I would say nope just because I'm you know, weird. So I say nope. And then a couple days later, like I think he texted me the other day. I just quit answering the hey text because I'm like, what? I've never been to your house. We've been on one actual date. Why do you think that I'm going to leave my house and go to your house? And no, you can't come to my house.
I don't know you.
Exactly. One date, and it was in the daytime for brunch. So it wasn't even a nighttime date. So
Wow.
there was no reason to think that anything was gonna happen. Like, and you don't know me, you haven't talked to me. It'd be different if we made a connection over the phone. I felt comfortable, and you know something.
Something real.
Yeah, don't text me. Come over. You need to ask me how my day was. I mean, really, like I
That's
could.
true.
You don't know what I deal with on a daily basis, and you're like, come over. Oh, okay.
No,
yeah.
hey, how you doing?
No.
And
You hungry?
he has one
Did
motive.
you eat?
Did you eat today?
No, nothing. I was like, really? So every once in a while, I'll answer the hey, just so I can hit back with the nope. Just to,
Just to play the game
nope.
along.
Yeah, every now and then, just give
So
them a
just
little
say-
hope.
So
Yeah.
just say, hey, nope.
Yeah, nope.
I mean, but also like when it comes to that, it's like if you actually like the guy and he was a little consistent and then he just falls off, that's the worst because you were trying to help him, you were trying to meet him halfway, and then it was just like he fell off, and then it's just like you gone months, and then he'll come back and you'll be like, so you're emotionally like going at it like, what happened here? So it's. Some
What are we
people-
doing when we know that the guy's is falling off?
What do we do?
What are we doing?
I may call once or twice.
Yeah.
I told you about once or twice.
Okay.
It's my limit.
Yeah.
You might get a good morning or a good afternoon, but then for me, I'm so busy, and I tell people that in the beginning. And another thing, a lot of men don't listen, and I tell them, this is what I want, this is what I have going on. I'm very busy, so if I make time for you, or you tell me we're gonna do something at this time, I've scheduled that time.
Right.
I've made time for you, and for something to come up or something to change, or like, no,
You out here threatening guys, ain't you? You threatening
no,
guys?
I don't threaten them. I just let them know if I put you on my schedule
Yeah.
and it gets past, like it doesn't happen, I don't know when I'm gonna see you.
Do you charge them a late fee too?
I should.
Do you got 2 no call no shows and it's a wrap?
Oh yeah. If you don't show
No
up,
call,
yeah,
one no show.
Put that in the contract. 2
No more
call, shows,
chances.
it's a wrap.
Nope.
Anybody saying anything?
Right.
We apologize, y'all.
We just talk.
Danny said 2 chances. That's rough.
Mm.
Cornelia said, preach, bro, preach. Brunch is the most important meal of the day.
That's right. That's right.
That's the most indecisive meal of the day.
Yeah, you can be anything.
Breakfast and lunch.
It is. And you know what I like to eat, so I eat both. So I can go to a brunch. I like
Right.
brunch. I like food. Like just
Right.
and that's the thing sometimes with, like, we were talking about exes, like, you know, I have some exes, like even my ex-husband, every now and then he'll hit me up, be like, hey, you wanna go to brunch? I'm like, "Shh. No, I like food. I can't say no.
Always
So-
trying to reel it in.
and that's the I got another ex. Hey, you wanna go eat some sushi? I sure do. I sure do.
But you so quick to say no to the other guy.
He asked me to come to his house. He didn't put
Let's go back.
Maybe he was gonna make some sushi at the
Oh,
house.
no. That should have been in the text. Like, I got food at the house, and then maybe I'd have thought about it.
You
Cause I
didn't
like
let
to
him
eat.
get the other text out.
No,
You know he got an iPhone where you got to see that little bubble that pop
No.
up, see if it will text.
that should have been first.
True.
I have food.
Right.
Anybody ask like any questions or anything?
No, not really. But I know I have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 5 minutes too. But
Oh.
I have one about the love language thing.
Mhm.
Now there's a person that I know, and that person is always doing stuff for me that I don't want done.
Oh, right.
And I kind of need my oil change, and that's kind of what I want done.
Well,
But you're bringing me
Oh, boy.
stuff that you would like to get,
Right.
and I'm just not feeling it. Like, you're not hearing me at all. Now, what can you do to fix that besides
Boundaries.
Tell him.
besides just rolling my eyes like that's not what I asked you to do?
Tell him. Oh,
And I
but
can't.
you told him.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I mean, that's
how'd you
like
say it?
probably just like I just said it.
Like just stop it. Let's do a little improv. Let's do a little improv.
Okay.
Hey, I'm gonna just act like I'm him.
Okay.
I'm gonna speak like I'm a thug. Like, hey,
Why would you never get
just
done though?
don't. You
No,
be
I'm
surprised
sorry,
at
go
him. And hit you with that thug, yo.
Okay, go
We
ahead.
don't like thugs up in this area.
My
How about
apologies.
that?
My
Thank
apologies.
you.
I'm gonna be Mr. Terrence.
Bro, man.
Look, you gonna listen or not?
No.
I'm gonna show you
We don't like thugs.
So we're doing the improv then.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I wanna.
Go ahead, doctor.
Hey, I wanna do some things for you. I wanna cater to you, pamper to you, do all these basic things. And then I think you said, what was it?
Oil change.
Is that how you said it?
You work at a garage. I
Oh.
mean, change my oil in my car. The light is on. Like, you do everybody else's car. It's like the bald-headed beautician. Like, what is going on here? I just don't
That
know.
mic is too expensive to drop right now.
That is funny.
So what?
That
So
Oh,
so
my
let's do like the little thing you do on TV where. So let me tell you what she really said.
Right.
Okay.
Look, if you gonna change my oil or not, like all this other nonsense you're doing, that's irrelevant. I appreciate it, but I don't appreciate it. Like either you're gonna change my oil or not,
Right.
and then so action.
My thing is show up at the job. He works there. Show up with your car. Hey.
Okay, but what is that saying though? When
Then
that
I
person
asked you.
does that,
I asked you to change my oil, and you didn't do it. So here I am.
but well, no, not that part. But when you're telling the person how you want to be loved, and they are
Yeah.
not responding to that, to me that says you are so not the one for me. So whatever it is you're needing from me, you are not quite gonna get it because you're not even responding to what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Go
And
ahead.
it's,
I
Is
feel
that
it's on your spirit. Go ahead.
and we're not gonna do the Terrence and automatically throw him
Don't
out.
do that.
Because apparently it sounds like y'all are already
Related.
in a relationship.
But we've just been hanging around for years and years because I'm not interested. But he
His
was.
spirit in your spirit.
I'm done. I'm done. Because
What?
she said she's not interested. I'm done.
Nah, but every now and then, listen, every now and then, he will show up on time and he will actually do something amazing.
Oh boy.
And see, and that goes back to the good things about him that you like, but
Yeah,
you
there-
still want the other thing.
There's 2-3 things I like.
He just need to change that oil one
He
time.
just-
Just change that oil.
No, see, you do it more than once though.
Yeah, but
See,
you
she
gotta
said
do it
change the
more
oil.
than time.
if you just do it one time.
If you can do it consistently,
Consistently inconsistent.
yeah.
Well, see, you gotta.
I'm gonna let you take this one. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like you gotta
4 times a year.
I mean, my advice, my suggestion is, imagine being in a high school classroom where you're not understanding a material. So of course, because the average teacher is going to teach you one particular way, but if she realizes a student isn't understanding that particular way, that student is going to exhaust, that teacher is going to exhaust additional options to be able to teach you. So maybe the way that you're trying to teach him, which is the Ike Tina Turner version in the limo thing, like
Oh, boy.
you're trying to teach him a way of how Tina was teaching Ike when she was tired of the abuse in the limo scene. So you have to readjust how you
Change
teach this man.
My approach to
Yeah,
him.
you gotta change your
Oh,
approach.
that's way too much work.
Well, see,
And that's what I was going to say, because if she's not interested and they're not together, she's not going to do the work to get him to
Right.
where, or get, like I've had one of my friends, I have a couple friends that always say that. And I'm like, well, because I have a habit of, and I started this habit some years ago, as to why I'm not dating you anymore. I tell people, if I have the opportunity, I will let them know. You're inconsistent. You're crazy. Everybody has their,
that's a terrible combination.
not all together. I'm just saying it's been different reasons for
Oh,
different
okay.
people.
Oh,
You know, you got too much drama, too many babies. You know, there's certain things that people have that I just can't deal with. I don't deal with
The deal
people
breaker.
with kids in single
Yeah.
digits because I'm too grown and I'm not doing the little ones.
Hello.
I can't have little kids running around.
Wow.
I'm grown. But the thing is, and I always tell my girlfriends, I was like, well, why don't you just tell him instead of ghosting, disappearing and doing this? Tell
Slow
him,
down.
okay, this is where we are. We're not gonna date anymore. This is why. They say, why am I gonna tell him what's wrong to fix him for the next person?
Oh, that's crazy.
And I've had more than one female friend tell me that.
Oh,
Makes
that's ugly though.
It is, but I tell, I'm
I'm
like,
not gonna take the time to do that.
right, and I don't blame them. I just let them know you're not right for me, and this is why.
Well, yeah, I'm a firm believer of like helping a person, like, because I do care about them, like at the end of
Right,
the day.
you
So it's
like
like,
them.
if I know that they're not consistent, I let them know.
Yeah.
You are not very consistent, and maybe you need to work on that for your next relationship. Like, yeah, I mean, I'll keep them in the friend zone or the block zone or
The
know,
block zone.
usually the block zone. But, I'm getting better about that. So,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask her, he doesn't change your oil. Have you ever stopped and just asked him, hey, I've been telling you that this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why you won't do it?
Because they doing the tango.
Right.
He's not
Yeah.
doing it because she's not doing something that he wants her to do.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
That's that tip for
They
tat.
playing
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Which
I'm
is not good,
Never.
but they're
You don't
not in a
get along with
relationship.
that. Yeah.
So
Well, yeah,
you can do that when you're not. You can play with people when you're not in a relationship.
And
Well,
that's
but then
exactly
you're
what
just
happened.
playing. So, I mean, if you got time to play, then.
Well, she said she got time to play.
Yeah, I said if you got
No,
time to
I
play.
have time. I don't even want a relationship. He wants a relationship, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just kind of just.
You just playing.
But
But, see,
look, I told him I don't want a
You
relationship.
can't get to your
But if
the
you-
real relationship when you playing with a play relationship with a
Mm-hmm.
play
No.
relationship.
He-
You can't
the
expect
one
husband
who
qualities.
It takes
He's
two
He's
to
still in the
the
friend
tango.
zone.
Right.
He can't be the one when you ain't in two. It
You
takes two
can't
to
play
tango.
hubby and you can't play wifey and hubby if
And whatever
y'all ain't
game
working
y'all
on it
playing,
and practicing to
He
get to
might be
it.
playing one game, you playing another game. You playing hopscotch and he playing jack rocks, but you still
And-
playing
Game went over.
Yeah.
Who's Jack Rock?
But
But it's
we got to wrap.
Pick it up.
And pick
Yeah.
it up.
Oh,
time
That's
to go.
why I'll pick it up.
oh,
John, you
okay.
wrap, somebody wrap it for us. It's,
We're
We're gonna wrap
wrapping.
it up.
Yes.
We'll wrap it up.
we do it
Oh.
next Tuesday.
Oh yeah. All right.
Jerry's friend final thoughts.
I
It's wrap.
don't have any final thoughts. Well, this has been Let's Talk Relationships with with the revolving door of panelists.
Oh, round 5.
We had Terrence, who was in the background.
One and done.
Yes, Miss Gabrielle.